Man, I just got the shock of my life. I was talking with author Don Winslow, who's written something like 27 to 30 books, and his latest is City in Ruins. And he told me in that conversation that this was it. This was not only the final book, but this is it as him as an author. And I was so shocked by that. In all the show prep that I did and have done over the years when it comes to Don Winslow and helping him bring his books forward, it was such a wow moment in the way that I don't think I'm ever going to forget it. Only because I in everything that I have done for research, I didn't get that story. And he said, well, I announced it about a year ago. And he's out on this tour right now. And I asked him, is it kind of hard to be with people knowing that this is it? This is it. What are you going to do? And I love what he's going to do. He's going to become an activator. He's been doing this for a while now. He's got videos and he's going to activate. He's going to talk about the political situations that we have in this nation, and because there needs to be voices out there and not necessarily in just a book. So I was so shocked, but yet I'm so proud of Don Winslow. And wow, because that is writing. And when you're inspired by these writers and they're moving on, then you wonder about your life and other people's lives. What are the other readers, the fans of Don Winslow, going to do? Hey, it's Arrow. This is The Daily Mess, a chronological walk through an everyday world. I am a daily writer. I've been doing this since July of 1994. I'm also the silent wolf. The silent wolf sits on the edge of life and observes. We listen, we study, we participate, we activate, we get involved, and then we create conversation. This is The Daily Mess. The ink from this writing instrument that sits in my hand right now comes from this itty-bitty jar to the left. My left, a laptop writing desk. So many scars on the top of this from the days of when I used to take a brush and paint inside these journals while sitting here in front of this writing window. I honestly couldn't tell you what year that this desk became a part of my life, but I just know that every morning when I come here to release the words that are flowing through me, this scarred up desk is here, and so is this tiny jar filled with ink. I'm a dipper. The bottle of ink will always remain the newest thing. For each writing instrument has its own history, some of it dating back nearly 25 years. Imagine having a writing instrument for 1/4 of a century. This particular instrument is nearing 3 years, which is nothing, and yet its presence gives me everything. 2 new boxes have been prepared to receive the books that which I place my thoughts within. There's no way I can guess how long it's going to take me to fill those protective boxes. If I'm lucky, maybe 3 years it'll take to fill just one of them, which to a daily writer is just the blink of an eye. But it's all there. It's in those boxes. 30 years of experiences, a ton of questions, curses I've put on people, failures, gains, and really, maybe just a few answers. All written in ink. I'm always calling it my blood. I'm sitting down to bleed. Which I'll tell you where that came from and what led me to the writing in July of 1994. And that is, I was a cutter. And the only way that I was going to stop cutting, it wasn't going to a doctor. That all they would do is just listen to me, which is fine, because that's what you're supposed to do. Go to the professionals. And then I saw something else in a jar, a little itty-bitty jar, that when I put the tip of my fountain pen in it and I'm able to write, it reminded me of something else. And I'm going to let your imagination interpret that. So I call it bleeding. And from that incident in July of 1994 has come 30 years of writing. And I asked Don, I said, what's going to happen to your writing, Don, when you transition? And he goes, I've not even thought about that. And yet I'm haunted by it. That's my reaction, haunted. Because I don't know where all of this that has come from the writer in me is going to go. And it's scary. But when Don announced that he was retiring, right away I kind of sat up straight, because my wife and I don't call it retiring. We call it, you now have the power of choice. When you wake up, you have the choice to do whatever you want. I'm Arrow, and that's The Daily Mess.